Yo, what to do? It's the boy Rich back with another 6v6 Pokemon battle for the channel against the homie Zach off Discord. He was looking for a UU Pokemon battle, and I still had this UU team. I have actually a good amount of battles with this UU team. I don't typically keep teams together for this long, but like I've been using this same team for about like 2 weeks now. If you guys can't tell already, like I like using a certain team for like maybe 3-4 battles, and then I like breaking it up, and then trying like to put different Pokemon together, see what they can do and whatnot. But I've been really kind of enjoying this team. None of them are really exactly new as far as like me trying to showcase anything or me even using anything that I just don't know what it does. Like I'm pretty familiar with all 6 of the Pokemon on this team. Let me just go ahead and say I love Mamoswine. I hated it when it got put into OU because I was like, I can't put this thing on the team. It just doesn't belong here. So I am just so happy that this Pokemon is back in the UU tier. So I did throw him back on the team. This guy was like my staple back then. So yeah, I'm just ecstatic about that. But looking at my opponent's team, he has the Moltres on his team that I definitely have to watch out for. My voice is just over here cracking. Sorry about that. But he has, you know, Scizor, standard stuff. Everything else is pretty common in the UU tier. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop into the battle. So I was just going to go ahead and start InfernAPE. I didn't really care or think too much about what my opponent was going to start out with because I was like, yeah, I was like, InfernAPE, if it's something I can kill, then I'll go ahead and kill it. If it's something I can't kill, I'll go ahead and U-turn out. I am Choice Scarfed, just like every other InfernAPE, I feel like. But my opponent has an InfernAPE as well, and he's just going to go ahead and start out with that as well. So I just went for the U-turn. I thought my opponent would go ahead and just swap into the Moltres. I definitely didn't want to play like a speed tie game this early in the battle, but he did just choose to stay in here, which I was really scared because I was like, dang, see, he just went for the Earthquake right here, which would have like absolutely destroyed my InfernAPE. So I could have lost the speed tie just right at the beginning of the game and lost a really important Pokemon. But I just decided to swap out into my super defensive max HP Sylveon, who just takes physical hits all day. So there wasn't really too much that InfernAPE could have did to my Sylveon. Plus I figured if he wanted to stay in and try to do that speed tie, I thought he'd go for like a close combat, which really wouldn't have hurt my Sylveon, but that's not the case. He goes into this freaking Alolan Muck, which is, I mean, it's honestly expected. This thing can definitely hurt anything on my team, so I just decided to go ahead and swap out into Mamoswine after using that Wish. I went for the Wish figuring that this Alolan Muck was going to go ahead and come out, because I was like, if I go for the Wish, then at least whatever I swap into, which is going to be my Mamoswine, can get it back up to full HP like it just did. Now, I know, like I said, he has that Moltres on his team, which my Mamoswine really can't do too much to. I only have Ice Shard, I have the Stealth Rocks, I have Icicle Crash, and Earthquake, none of which can really do too much to this Moltres. I know my ice moves are typically neutral damage to this Moltres, but this thing is out here, and I have a calm-natured Empoleon who I thought could take Fire Blast a little better than he did just now. That took off like a third of my HP, and I was really kind of disappointed. I know that's neutral damage, but I was like, dang, man, you're calm. Like, you're supposed to be eating all this, like, come on, what are we doing, bro? So my Empoleon's just out here taking these Fire Blasts right to the face, and it's just, like I said, making me uncomfortable with how much damage he's actually doing. I went for the knockoff right here thinking he was like Specs or something, but he wasn't even Specs. This thing is Z move, so I was like, damn, this thing is just like hitting hard as bricks for no reason. So yeah, this is just really unfortunate for me. I didn't really have any switch-ins or anything, so I was like, at least let me go ahead and do some damage. I do have my Stealth Rocks up, and my opponent actually makes a really good play right here. He swaps to his Tentacruel, which I know is most likely going to be his spinner, as I just went for the Scald, hoping that that Moltres would stay in and I could at least get some damage on him before my Empoleon decided to go ahead and faint. But like I said, this thing is in here, and a Rapid Spin is just unavoidable right now. I got my Stealth Rocks up, and that's the one thing that's like really bad about Moltres, with its typing being fire and flying. When it comes out to Stealth Rocks, it takes like half of its HP just off top. It's really discouraging when you want to use stuff like that, when you want to use like the Fire Oricinco, Oricorio, whatever that thing's name is, when you want to use a Charizard, which is my favorite Pokemon. Rocks are just really annoying. But anyway, back to the battle. My opponent actually went for the Toxic Spikes right here, which is a questionable play. I mean, I have a Venusaur on my team, and I still have my Empoleon, who I know I could probably send back out here and get a defog up if I wanted to, but yeah, he didn't go for the rapid spin, which I definitely would have went for that rapid spin. He has the mole trace, and I just don't want to play those games, but maybe that's just me. I went for the volt switch right here thinking my opponent would probably swap out, but he didn't. He actually just chooses to go for the rapid spin now. Get rid of those rocks. That is like top priority stuff right there. Like, you got a mole trace on your team, you got to get rid of the rocks. So I just decided to go back into my Empoleon. Gonna get some nice leftovers damage, but you know, get hurt by the burn in turn, so it's not really like I'm getting any HP gain in the long run. But we're here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I believe go for a defog right here, because I think my opponent has rocks up on my side of the field as well. And I don't think rocks really just hurt my team like that, but still, I mean, I don't want that stuff on my side of the field. So my opponent is gonna go ahead and go for a knock off my leftovers. So now I'm just gonna be taking all that burn damage. And yeah, I went for the knockoff as well, so I knocked off his black sludge. So this thing is just out here. He's gonna go ahead and try to get some more toxic spikes out. I guess I understand it. Entry hazards are just like the key to destroying. I'm sorry, I said I knocked off his black sludge earlier. I just knocked it off, but he's getting these toxic spikes up, and I definitely understand getting your entry hazards up. Those can just be super annoying to play around. So now I have a layer of toxic spikes on the ground that I have to play around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to my Venusaur right here just to go ahead and get rid of the toxic spikes, you know, absorb them into my little flower, my feet, whatever. I don't know how that works, but Venusaur just, you know, came in here, swept up that stuff. Now I'm just gonna go ahead into my Manectric, because I didn't figure this Tentacruel could do too much. I mean, he could hit me with like a sludge wave if he wants, but I figured he'd just be trying to get his toxic spikes back up until he like ended up feigning in the long run. But my guy is out here, and I'm tired of seeing this thing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go for a Thunderbolt right here. So yeah, that's it. Honestly, it was an obvious play. My opponent definitely could have went into his Manectric of his own, but I guess he just didn't want to do that. So I didn't really understand why he didn't do that. But he also has this Alolan Muck, which I'm 50% sure is like Assault Vest. Some of them run like Choice Band and whatnot, but I went for the Volt Switch right here just to go ahead and get out of here, because if this thing is Assault Vest, then my Manectric has no business in here, as my opponent just goes for the Pursuit right there. I knew it was coming, and it just does so much damage to my Manectric. Like, a stab Pursuit from this Alolan Muck is just a lot of damage. But I went ahead and went out into my Venusaur just to get rid of those toxic spikes again, because that Tentacruel is gone. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I did figure I had to get out of here, because my Venusaur really can't hurt this Muck either. So I did just kind of make a double swap out to my Mamoswine, who ends up taking that Fire Punch really good. I am thick fat, so it was never really going to do too much damage, even though this thing hits like a truck. But that Alolan Muck is definitely gonna be a problem for me, because my guy is on a timer, because I'm toxic, and I mean, I don't really just have too many moves that can hurt that thing besides, you know, an Earthquake. But I don't really have any swap-ins to Fire Blast or anything. I kind of misclicked right here. I accidentally clicked Earthquake, which I have no clue why I accidentally did that. I meant to go for the Icicle Shard, because I was like, I'm just gonna have to sack my Mamoswine out. But I did end up letting my guy just go ahead and go down right there, so I could go into my Mega Manectric. Now, I fully expected my opponent to go back out into his Alolan Muck, but he decided to go ahead and stay in here with Moltres. I don't know why. This Moltres definitely could have, you know, been preserved. He could have stayed. My opponent had answers to Mega Manectric. He also could have went into his Manectric, like I said, of his own, because that thing is Lightning Rod, and it just kind of seems like a really good play. He would have got that special attack boost, but I mean, I can't really go back on it or anything. That's just what happened. His Moltres went down. Now his InfernAPE is back out here, and I figured he was just going to go ahead and try to go for, you know, some more close combats or flare blitzes or something. But I'm just going to go back into my little physical wall, my Sylveon. And I figured I could just kind of stay in here with that damage. I could just kind of stay in here, you know, play the whole Wish, Protect game until he wanted to go ahead and kill himself or swap out. But my opponent actually makes a different play. I thought he was for sure 100% going to go ahead and swap out into his Alolan Muck. So my play was to just go for the Moonblast. Even though it wasn't going to hurt him, I figured I would need to get as much damage as I possibly could, you know, done on that Muck, to where my InfernAPE could possibly come out here and kill it with like an Earthquake or a close combat if needed. So my opponent actually just, after staying in and sacking off his own InfernAPE, He goes into his Scizor, which is completely expected. I was hoping he'd actually Roost or Sword Dance up right here, because I do pack the Hidden Power Fire on my Sylveon. Funny enough, in this tier, the UU tier, I pack a fire move on like every mon that can have a fire move. Like serious, like my Sylveon has Hidden Power Fire, my Venusaur on the team has Hidden Power Fire, Manectric has like Overheat, like everything has a fire move for Scizor. Scizor's just ain't safe playing against me. But anyway, this thing is back out here. He U-turned into his own Manectric, and now I'm sending back out my Mega Manectric, and I know this is going to be a speed tie because who's not really running like max speed Mega Manectrics. I was really just hoping that I'd be able to go ahead and I was really hoping I'd be able to win this speed tie again, like I did at the first turn of the battle with our InfernAPEs, because this is also another Pokemon that I kind of needed to get some damage done on, as my opponent's just gonna stay in here and go for the flamethrower, and I was really hoping he'd go for like an overheat or something, because then his special attack would lower. But I mean, he has the safe flamethrower. It did what it needed to do, knocked out my Mega Manectric, but now I do feel safe enough to bring my InfernAPE in here and just kind of go for whatever move. My InfernAPE can kind of clear this battle up if I use him right. So my opponent's going to make a really good play. He knows I'm Choice Scarfed, and I'm just going to go ahead and go for the U-turn right here. He swapped in a Scizor onto InfernAPE. Like, that is just wild. Like, that's not what a Scizor, at least not what I would think he would want to look at. But anyway, I'm going into my Venusaur, and I think it would be pretty common knowing that these things have like the Hidden Power Fire on them. But I guess my opponent opted to just kind of stay in here and go for a Bullet Punch. I'm thinking because he didn't go for the U-turn or something, that maybe this thing is like Choice Bandit. I know a lot of people run their Scizors like that as well, but I was able to go ahead and knock that thing out with a clean Hidden Power Fire. Like, everything I have has Hidden Power Fire or a fire move on it. Scizors ain't safe. I'm just gonna say it again. Scizors ain't safe out here. Like, don't do it. Just like in like every other tier, like OU, like when I play OU games, like all my Pokemon have ice moves on it for like Landorises and stuff. But anyway, back to the battle. I'm using Breakneck Blitz with my Venusaur right here because honestly I don't have another play that I can do on this Alolan Muck. Just nothing I have is really gonna hurt this thing. Just keeping it a buck with you guys, like there's just nothing I could do. This is a Z Celebrate Venusaur, which I absolutely feel super dirty using, but at the same time, I don't know, he kind of just fit on the team, and I don't really play those games in UU. Like, this is like the one tier where I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna try hard it. So that Breakneck Blitz, like I said, it didn't do too much damage on that that Alolan Muck because it is Assault Vest. And also, but it did just do more damage than like a Sludge Bomb or a Giga Drain could do on it. So, yeah, my Venusaur did end up going down after that. And my last Pokemon is the InfernAPE. My opponent made a good play going out into his Mega Manectric so he could get the clean Intimidate on my InfernAPE. And his last Pokemon is going to be the Mug. And with his life being at that much HP, I wasn't sure if an Earthquake was going to be able to kill him. But after taking that Stealth Rock damage, it did make me feel a little bit safer. And since my opponent didn't really do too much to my InfernAPE earlier in the battle, he wasn't going to be able to Shadow Sneak me or anything. And I don't think I would have been able to take a Poison Jab from this Alolan Muck. So with that last Earthquake, I was able to go ahead and clean the battle up, winning with a 1-0 victory. Super solid battle. Like, it was really good. I enjoyed this battle. I've been enjoying using this team. I have a few more battles that I do want to upload using this team. All of them are really close, crazy enough. So but yeah, great battle against the homie Zach. He always pushes me to the limits. I think I have a different battle using this team against Zach, and he's using a different UU team, but I mean, all of them are good. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get those uploaded. I think I'm going to have another battle that I'm going to upload later today if you guys are going to, stick around and check that out. But if you did enjoy this battle, go ahead and drop that like for me. If you are looking forward to future battles from me, go ahead and drop that sub for me if you're not already subbed, because I got that stuff. Like, I got them battles coming out for you guys. Check me out, yo. Like, tell your friends about me. Anyway, love you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Peace out.